Hey y'all, happy Sunday and welcome to this week's live Q&A session. This is the portion of the show where we allow YouTube to send out notifications that we're going live. If you're watching this live Q&A on replay, please scrub ahead until this graphic disappears and the actual show begins. If you're watching live and you have any comments or questions, please go ahead and put them in the live chat. But for now, grab a beverage, sit back, and relax while the countdown timer does its thing. Then we'll get started. Hey y'all, let me turn on my face light so it doesn't look like I'm in a cave. You'd think I'd have done that before we went live, but no. What fun would that be? Happy Sunday. Hope everybody is doing well. We kind of cooled down a little bit in the heat. The AC didn't have to work hard to get it to a nice, comfy 72 in here. And it's not very warm at all, but that's all right. I'll take it. Um, Today's an open live Q&A. And so if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I do have a couple of, it was a comment more than a question from 8th Center that for some reason my studio software didn't pick up, but I saw it in the YouTube chat. I'll address it. I just can't highlight it. Okay. If you are new here, please note that I have subscribers only turned on for the chat. That is to keep all of the bots out and keep all of the trolls and things of that nature out. You must be subscribed to my channel for 24 hours before you can comment in the chat. Subscribe now, then next week you can get to your question or your situation. It's laid back here. I'm sorry I have to turn on the subscribers only, but unfortunately that's the world we live in now. Some people just live to, some people are just, they live to disrupt something else. So what can I tell you? It's just the world we live in. Anyhows, we'll get right into it. Again, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, demands for payment, whatever, throw them in the chat. And we'll get to you just as quickly as we can. But 8th Center brought up a good one before we went live. Said, been getting very, I'll clean it up slightly, cheesed off with the so-called snapping options. Is it just me? Am I using it wrong? But they never seem to work right. Okay, well, you have, and I asked, he's using VCarve. But this is identical in VCarve or Aspire. I just wanted to make sure that I knew which he was using so I could demonstrate in VCarve. Basically, you have a couple of different types of snapping. Let's bring it on into the spotlight here, and we'll get right in it. We have grid snapping, we have smart snapping, and we have geometry snapping. There are 3 different types of snapping. Now, you can see that I have grid snapping. It's gray. That means it's turned off. I have geometry snapping turned on, and I have smart snapping turned on, and I have geometry snapping turned on. So let's go for the easier ones first. Okay. Let's go with smart snapping. Now, smart snapping is simply used in working with geometry when you're going to try to either draw something or you're going to use a guideline. Smart snapping, with it turned on, I can drag a guide down here and I can snap it right to that corner, to that node on that corner, and that guideline is right there. It's right on that top vector. I can grab it and I can drag it down and snap it to the center of this vector here. Or I can snap it straight to the bottom of that vector. Let me delete that. Or in the case of a horizontal, I can bring it up to that corner. I can bring it up to the center. Or I can bring it over to that corner. That is smart snapping. Okay? I can also drag it over, and you notice my cursor change telling me that I am in the center of this vector. It snaps straight. See how that guideline went over? It's not quite underneath the cursor. It snapped right to the center of this rectangle. That's smart snapping. Okay? Now 8 center just added, it's snapping to the guide that never seems to work. Okay? And again, you need to have smart snapping. Come on. You need to have smart snapping turned on. Okay? So I've got this up here, this vertical guide. Let me drag a horizontal guide right there. And that's just off the top of my head. So I want to draw a circle with a 1/4 inch radius. I can bring my cursor over and you see how it snaps right to that guide. It's looking at the horizontal guide is complete across the center of that circle. I come up here and that vertical guide is complete across the center of that circle. That'll snap that circle I'm getting ready to draw right to that guide. So even though I'm off to the right a bit, or to the left a bit rather, I click and that circle is centered on that guide. Let me Control Z. If I bring it down here, it turns into a bullseye where both the horizontal and vertical are at the center of those two guides. Okay? That is smart snapping. If I turn smart snapping off, and I drag a vertical guide down, oops, I'm still in the circle, excuse me, and I drag a guide down, it will still snap because geometry snapping is on, but I can place this anywhere. Okay. Does it only work with the center of it or something? It can work in various ways. This is working with just in guidelines, okay? Turn off geometry snapping while I'm at it. And now it will go to my XY 0, but it doesn't automatically snap to this vector here. It doesn't snap to that corner. Let me zoom in. It does not snap to this corner. I can pull it there, but it's not automatic. And this is proportional. The closer I zoom in, the easier it is to get it aligned to where I want it. But I can go just a little bit above it and it's not snapping. Okay? If I turn geometry and smart snapping back on, it's going to snap right to that corner the minute I get there. And it doesn't matter how far away or how close I am. Okay? So, oops, let me Control Y that. I undid something I didn't want to undo. For those that don't know, Control Z is undo, Control Y is redo. So, now 8 center says on the circle, that's usually what he's moving around. Okay? So we're going to go back into the circle again, and we're going to go back over to this guide, and you notice how that crosshair, I can be over here, and that circle is still going to be on, right on where those two cross. Control Z. Or I can just put it right there horizontally, and it'll snap to that guide. Okay? Control Z. The same thing works for, let's say, a polygon, a 6-sided polygon. Let's go with 0.75. And we'll come over here, and sure enough, it turns into that crosshair. I'm lined up horizontally. I'm not lined up vertically. And I can draw that polygon there. Now, moving the circle edge to a guide. All right, let's Control Z to undo that. Oops, I got to come in here and click in this. Control Z to undo that. Let's go back to the circle. Now I'm going to make a circle right over here. Now I'm going to zoom in. And here, I don't want to go by the center of the circle. I'm going to grab hold of the edge. Now you see how my cursor is a square with crosshairs around it. It's snapping to that. Let me go into node editing. It's snapping to that node right there. Now let me come out of node editing. It's snapping to that node. So I'm going to drag that circle. And you see how that line projects up. That's telling me that I'm moving straight vertically. And I can snap it right there. Boom. Click off. I can create another circle over here, close. Then in move and transform mode, come over here and grab that by that node, drag it straight across, boom. Create another circle here. Close it. Now I want to grab somewhere in the middle, and you see where what my cursor looks like now. I can still grab this, and you see that projection line. That's telling me I'm dragging at a 45 degree. You see the little square there? I'm dragging it at 45 degrees if I stay on that line. And boom. That area where I grabbed it snaps to that intersection of that projected angle and this guide. If that was a mistake, I need to drag it down. Okay, I can grab it right here and snap it right there. So I was using it wrong. If you have to use the edge to click on, I normally click to move from anywhere. Yes, anywhere handy. Yes, you have to grab it from the edge that you want to snap. So I can grab this here, click it once, wait a second, click it again to go in move and transform mode. Now I want to grab that node right there. Now I want to drag it straight up and boom, snap it right there. So easy way to place a line on the tangent of a circle. Okay. Or a circle or vice versa. Okay. Let's get rid of this guideline. Delete. Let's get rid of this guideline. Delete. Let's assume these are all correct. Okay. We want to go to tangent of this circle. First thing I got to do is I got to select it. Oh, no, I don't even need to select it. Okay, do I have both on? Yes, I have them both on. Okay. Now I'm going to grab a line, and it's going to be a case of where do I want my start point. Do I want the start point to be the center of my circle? You'll see with Smart Snapping, it automatically goes to the center of that circle. So I can draw a line, and I can come down here. Okay, I've got curve selected, so I need to go S. All right, now you see what I've got going here. I'm at a 45-degree angle. Okay? I can click, and there's my line. Or I can come up and go to this area right here. Now you see what it's doing. It's setting me up for another angle. Okay? If I bring it right there, now it's telling me that if I do this, I'll be going at another 45-degree angle from here, keeping tangent. Okay? But now I've got a 90-degree angle here. Let's Control Z that and Control Z that. Edge of circle to a corner of a square. Okay, yes. All I got to do is we're going to go from this edge right here. and I want to go straight down to that square, that's a simple drag. That's a simple drag. But it'll snap to the center point. It'll snap to the edge. It'll snap to whichever, this corner here. It will find the center point. Anything around here, you're moving infinite. It's not going to snap. It is going to tell you that you're lined up vertically or horizontally, but now we look at this. Look at my angle. I've got a length of, L stands for length, A stands for angle. I got a length of 3.4729. Okay, great. I've got an angle of 30 degrees. It is snapped to that angle. I can bring it back here, and it is snapped to 60 degrees. See what I'm getting at? I'll just go ahead and complete the line, space bar to accept it, then Control Z to get rid of it. Can I go from the top edge up here to the center? Yes, I can. Control Z. All right. You are more of a math person than I am, but it's not at the tangent of a circle. I've not worked in these terms for so long, it's not even pitiful, and I'm scrambling to remember what a tangent is. Are we talking about you want to place a square to the tangent of a circle, or do you want to place a circle to the tangent of a square? 8 Center says, I don't think it can do tangents. I'd have to look into it. So I tell you what, let me, tangent is the outer edge of the circle. Okay. You know, let me dig into it and see if it will do tangents, okay? I will dig into it because for what you do, line to the tangent of a circle. For what you do, 8th Center, I know you need precise lines. Your work is so intricate that this is really, really something that you need. And I get where you're coming from. All I can say is let me work with it. Let me get into it. See, it definitely won't do chords automatically. You'd have to use other programs to get the math. Yeah, basically, VCarve is not that type of software. It is for working with, well, VCarving, some 3D carving, but it's bas relief 3D carving. It's not full 3D carving. It's for carving reliefs. For what you're talking about, you would need more of a CAD software like FreeCAD, or I hesitate to even say it, Fusion 360, and then export it at export it into a format. Excuse me, I could not think of the word format for some reason that you can import into VCarve. How about hovering near the circle and tap the T? Let's do it. Let's try it. We're going to go with a line here. Make sure I'm drawing a line. And let's get over here close to this, and let's tap T. Let me start here at the edge, and let's tap T. No, it's not. It's giving me an angle between the two circles of 60 degrees, but that's it. I'm not getting any kind of a tangent. I'm getting, you see letter S, I'm now square, but I'm not doing it. I'm not getting a tangent. So let us go ahead and accept that, space bar, then Control Z. Remember, it's not a machining software. Or in reverse, snap a line to the circle, then rotate the circle. It might snap the line crossover. I'm not getting what you're trying to say. When you drag an object at, say, a 45-degree angle, can you divide that angle at, say, 22.5? All right, let's get into that. When you drag an object at, say, a 45-degree angle, can you get it at a 22.5-degree angle? Let me Control Z that. I'm not seeing any kind of a movement that will let me drag. Whoops. That will let me drag straight. Let me zoom in here. Boom. There's the midpoint of that span. And I'm not getting any angle support here. Let me Control Z that. Turn on grid snapping. Grid snapping is what turns on the grid here, but I'm going to see if it gives me what I'm looking for. No, it's not. It's just snapping to the grid squares. Okay, Control Z. If you ever want to know how to turn on and off the grid snapping, it's right here. I tend to not use it. Robert's talking about Rhino 3D with Grasshopper. Yeah, but you're looking at some money there. But again, it is software that'll do exactly what you're talking about. Rhino is a very powerful program. It's pretty damn powerful. So. Tangent of a circle is a straight line that touches the circle at exactly one point. It never enters inside of the circle or intersects it twice. Oh, okay. Joe Worley says, start a polyline somewhere, draw to near the circle, and then tap T. Should get tangent. Okay. Okay. Let's try it. Start a line somewhere close to the circle. I'm going to go right here. And I'm going to bring it down. Now that was a bad place to start. Escape. Let's go back and try again. Let's go over here. I'm going to drag right here, and I'm going to go T. There it is. I see what you're talking about. Man, I'm going to Control Z all that. That was just my cursor going wonky because I wasn't paying attention. All right, we're going to start over here. I'm going to tap the letter T, and there it is. It snapped to the tangent, but it did enter it. Control Z, Z. I see what you're saying now. And it did snap to tangent. Okay. And then I can get square to this vector here. I see what you're getting at, Joe. Did that help you, 8th Center? Or everybody, or Rich that was looking for tangent? Rich says, okay, just tried it and it worked. All right, I'm going to escape out of there. And I'm going to Control Z off of that. Thank you. I appreciate that. See, the learning never stops. The learning never stops. In node editing, there is a right-click, keep busy, a tangency, K. K being the shortcut. Okay. Okay. Great, now my eyes hurt. How do you think I feel? I was the one on the controls. So the difference between smart snapping and geometry snapping is just as it sounds. Smart snapping will snap anywhere on something selected when you are trying to draw, say, a line or what have you. It'll snap to a node. It'll snap to a midpoint in a span. All of that. If you need a start point that is not a node or a midpoint in a span, then you turn smart snapping off, and it will still identify, but it won't snap. It'll identify the center of the span, but it won't snap to it. So you can get close without being on it. If you want to snap to that node or the center of that span, it'll do it. Okay? Geometry snapping is, let's say I need to draw another rectangle, not necessarily of the same size, but I want the top of that rectangle level with the top of this rectangle. I can come over here into my Draw Rectangle tool and just hover over that node for a second. Then I go straight across and we see that projected line there. That's keeping my cursor on line with that node. So I can click, whoops, close, Control Z, go back in here. So wake up that node a little bit. Come over here. I can click, and now I can come over here to this node, kind of wake it up. Then go back over here, and I've got a projected line down on the bottom telling me that it's going to be the same height. Now I may or may not need the same width, but now this node here is level with this node here. And this node here is level with this node here. They're the same height. And we can tell that by looking at this over here. My height in Y is 3.7. Close. And my height in Y over here is 3.7. The width is different, but the height is the same. So, geometry snapping works that way. It will snap to the node of something that's already in place. So if I want to draw a line here, I can take this, wake up that node, just hold it over that corner for a second. Then I can come out here straight. I can come out here, up here straight, but it's going to be on line with that node. Now this is just for the start point of this line I'm going to draw. Okay, so I can put that right there so it's level here. Then I can come off up here and I can draw to any angle. Now, there's some question about getting into your, go into Edit and then come down here to Options and Snap Options. And you can change this angle. We see it is snap to 15 degrees. And I'll come up here, snap to 30 degrees. Come up here and snap to 45 degrees. That's because I have it set to snap in 15-degree increments. Now what I can do, let me come over here and close this. I can go in Edit, and I can go into Snap Options. And it is right here, your step angle. I have it set to 15 degrees. That's why it was going 15, 30, 45, then it would go 60. I can put this at 22.5. Click OK. And now when I come over here and I click and I want to move, there we go. I snap to 22.5. Then I snap to 45. Then I'm going to come up to 67.5. Then it'll snap at 90. So you set it, and it's not something that has to be set it and forget it. You can go in and you can change this snap options as your need be. Okay? And here's where you control it. Geometry snapping will snap to object centers, span endpoints, span midpoints, arc centers, and intersections. You can turn those off if one of them is giving you trouble, or you can turn it on if you don't have it turned on. I do not have smart snapping turned on for the object bounds. Again, we're talking about bounding boxes. But I do have it turned on for horizontal, vertical, tangents, perpendicular to tangents, the span geometry, and snap angle increments are down here. Okay? So, and the radius. You can adjust it to a small radius so you can get closer to the midpoint without it actually snapping to the midpoint. Or you can set it real large so it'll snap to the midpoint from somewhere out here. So all of this is up to you. You're going to display the text at a cursor, snap guides in your 2D view, snap the guides in the 3D view, snap guides to geometry. These you need to go in 8 center and look and see if they're turned on. Here's where you have snap to grid. Now when we turn on snap to grid, these dots appear out here. Here's where you set that grid spacing. Right now I set these at 1/4 of an inch. That's what my grid is, 1/4 inch squares. I can change that to 1/8 inch, 0.125, click OK, and now I have an 1/8 inch between these grid dots. So, and then again, I can control it up here. So, next question, how to use set Z0 on bed properly. I tried something the other day. I've done these a few times, but this time the bit ran straight through the piece sideways, tearing it away from the clamp. Let me dig into it. I did a video on setting Z0 to the bed versus setting Z0 to the surface, material surface. I will go find that video. Let me write myself a note here. Z0 to bed. I did a video on both of them, the pros and cons of both of them. And I will link that down in a pinned comment as soon as we're done. I can't do it right now because YouTube won't allow me to comment on a video while it's still live. Or comment on a live stream, rather. But I will go find that video and I will link it in a pinned comment as soon as we're done here. So that means you'll have to come back to get a link to that video. So, let's see. There were a couple of other questions up here. Let's see. All right, now, Wade Custon said, when using Vectric's nesting, and it creates sheet 2 and sheet 3, how can I just delete those? I find myself pasting sheet 1 into another open window of VCarve. If you want to just delete a sheet, whether you've used nesting or not, you go down here and you click on sheets, and those sheets will be listed right here. If you go to delete a sheet, well, first of all, it will not let you delete sheet 1. if you only have one sheet. Okay? You can delete a sheet right here. Just select it, right-click, delete. It will then pop up and ask you, that sheet has data on it. What do you want to do with that data? And the data can be deleted or it can be moved to another sheet. But if you want to delete a sheet, you go into your Sheets tab and you can do it right there. Let's see. I'll add a new sheet just so I can. There. Now I've got 2 sheets listed. This one has no data on it. You see my delete key down here lights up. So now I can just delete that sheet and be done with it. There's no data on it, so I don't have to worry about it. But let me add a new sheet. We'll call it sheet 2. I'll go to that sheet and I'll just do something higgledy-piggledy here. And tab to close that vector. Close. All right, so now I've got data on that sheet. I'll go to that sheet, select it, click delete. Oh, it took the data with it. It did it automatically. Usually it asks you, what do you want to do with the data that's on that sheet? Okay. All right. That's new. Wow. It's kind of like deleting layers. If there's data on a layer, it'll ask you, what do you want to do with that data? So, all right. Okay, Steve, right on time. Mark Z0, one of Mark Z0 vids, and the second Z0 vid. Yeah, I did one that compared setting to the bed versus setting to the top of the material. It's a general rule of thumb that I made up for myself. If I'm carving into the surface, if I'm V-carving, engraving, or cutting a pocket or something like that, I set Z0 to the material surface. If I'm cutting all the way through and I want to save my spoil board for some ungodly reason, which I don't, I'll set it at the machine bed. And I also show how you can do that on the same project. You can set a pocket and a V-carve on material surface in that file, and then set your cutout bit, cutout toolpath to the machine bed. Now, you are the second person I have seen, 8th Center, who's had trouble when setting to the machine bed, who has had trouble with the machine coming over, and in your case, it tore it loose from the clamps. And another subscriber, in fact, it was a channel member, in his case, it broke a bit and kept on going. So I'm going to need to dig into that a little bit more because I've never had that happen. I have never had that happen. So it might be confusion as to whether or not Z0 was set to the machine bed in the Vectric software and out on the machine. It's easy sometimes to do because if you have your job set to material surface here and you do your tool pathing and you go outside on the machine and you set it to the machine bed, you're in trouble. There is a way to do it in all-in-one file. Job setup was definitely set to the machine bed. Okay. All right. Yeah. If you make a mistake and you have your job setup set to the machine bed, and then you set your Z0 to the material surface, it's just going to cut above the material. Okay, Barry Lane is saying, thinking if you use the machine bed, then you would need more tool clearance for the thicker, taller pieces. That's the thing. It is supposed to remember the thickness of your material. It's supposed to account for that. So if you set your Z0 to the machine bed, it's supposed to remember the thickness of your material, then lift up from the start point and move, and then come down to that 0 position. It's supposed to remember it and calculate for that. So something is amiss, and that's what I'm going to explore. You know, maybe something has changed, and maybe we've just discovered something that is a bug. So, yeah, exactly. Supposed to being the operative word. I mean, maybe there's something else interfering with it. So, also the tool offset comes into play on the machine controller. Yeah, it's all on where you set your Z0. So, but yeah, I will post links to both of those videos. I think I have a playlist. All of those videos are on a playlist. I think they're on their own playlist. And if they are, I will link that playlist so you can watch all of the videos right there. If not, I'll just link both of those videos that Steve already linked. So, would the machine processor make a difference to that? Post-processor, I mean. I did update those recently. Well, there's a quick way to tell. Did it work for you before you updated the post-processor? Because that could be it. And are you able to roll back to the old post-processor? You know? If you're not able to roll back to the old post-processor, I mean, but you might want to get a hold of the machine company and let them, or the controller software company, whoever rolled out the new post-processor. You might want to get a hold of them and see if they've had any complaints and say, look, this is what happened. So it could be. It could very well be. I will test it and roll back. I never thought of it before. Yeah, I mean, when nothing else is, this is my attitude. Take it as being worth every penny you paid for it. I always go to the mechanical first because generally speaking, settings don't change themselves. But if you have updated something in the software, a post-processor, heck, your Windows operating system, if you have updated any of those things, that could be the change. And you've done nothing else. That could be the change. But generally speaking, settings don't change themselves. So if it worked yesterday and it's not working today, what changed? And 99 times out of 100, something mechanical is going wrong. Something slipping, lost steps, the bit went up but it didn't clear it. Maybe you're not measuring the thickness of your material as accurately as you think you are. Check your material thickness. You may have put in 3/4 of an inch, but is it actually 13/16? That's something that comes into, I don't know if anybody here who uses Imperial has ever actually measured 3/4 inch Baltic birch plywood. I'm telling you now, it's not 3/4 of an inch. It's 18 millimeters. There's a difference. That's closer to 11/16. So that can cause issues. It's actually thinner. 3/4 of an inch is closer to 19 millimeters. So there are a lot of variables there. You may think you're buying 3/4 inch stock, but is it actually a little bit thicker or a little bit thinner? That could cause issues as well. That's why I measure everything. I've got my dial calipers in here. I measure the thicknesses and go from there. So, yeah. Kurt says, to Mark's point, even other apps updated or installed can at times cause issues in other areas. They can. They can. Yeah, Kurt, when that happened, it can drive you crazy locating what happened. It sure can. You can go nuts trying to diagnose this stuff. You really can. So, yeah, I never assume a material is a thickness. I always check it. And I prefer my dial calipers simply because I can trust them. Digital calipers, I've seen variances like crazy. But with my dial calipers, if it's wrong, it's my fault. So, Stephen Main says, I had that exact issue a while back. Last week I used machine bed Z0 without issue. I don't know what the issue was. Probably me. Could be anything. I am 100% completely and totally supported by checklists. You can look over my shoulder and you see that sheet of paper taped to the bottom of my monitor. That's a checklist. And before I hit cycle start, I follow that checklist. And that's the point. We can get so complacent and think we've got everything done exactly right and miss that one thing. And that's what, ruins a $150 piece of wood, is missing that one little thing. So you can have the best checklist in the world, but it's worthless if you don't use it and you don't follow it. Mine is, I believe it's 10 steps. And I don't go to step 3 until I've completed step 2. I don't think, oh, okay, I've done that. No, I go do that, So, Rich says, I use my digital for close when I want to be sure I use my dials. I'm just used to using the dial calipers. I just trust them a lot more. That's just me. It's always the scary part, pressing start. It can be. It can be. It can be. Especially when it's expensive material and it's like, or something that's irreplaceable, like you're engraving something on a jewelry box that's, was given to someone by grandma and grandma passed away and this is irreplaceable. And it's like, oh man. Butch says, as a fighter pilot, I literally live by checklists. As a fighter pilot, you are literally alive because of those checklists. So, because you've seen people that got complacent. When I was in Army aviation, working on helicopters, we had big posters all over the hangar on all 4 walls. Big, huge things. Complacency kills. And that's just all there is to it. And it means it for a pilot, and it means it for the mechanic who was working on that aircraft. Because one twist of a bolt in the wrong direction can kill everybody on that aircraft. So, setting the wrong torque because you had a number in your head and weren't following the manual can kill everybody in that aircraft. So that's why I tell people they can't stress me. That's stress. Knowing that I held lives in my hands on a torque wrench, that's stress. Anything that happens now, my house can burn down. My bank accounts can get turned over to some prince in Uganda or wherever. Nobody dies. So, yeah, Brooks. Safety wire. Safety wire is your friend until it breaks and goes through your index finger sideways. Don't ask me how I know that. Okay, we did have a couple of questions. Let me get to these real quick. I've gotten way way out in left field here. Let's see here. Let's go here. Okay, Mario Montoya, good to see you again. It's been a while. Working on a two-sided tongue and groove, 0.15-inch thick panel. Tongue depth, 50 thousandths using pocket toolpath both sides. When previewing all sides from top, I see the top tongue cut depth 0.05. Okay, there was a part 2 to this. I'm sorry, Mario. I missed the part 2. Let me go find it. You'd think I would know how to do this. I mean, I've been here a day or two, but no, what fun would that be? Where are you, Mario? Got to go way up here because it was a while back. Okay, here it is. But when viewing the bottom using the cube rotator, the tongue cut depth is 0.10. If I use the flip symbol, the bottom and top sides show 0.5 cut depth. Why the discrepancy? Okay, I'm trying to picture in my mind what you got. You're doing tongue and groove. Top cut depth is 0.5. The bottom cut depth is 0.5. But when viewing the bottom using the cube rotator, the tongue cut depth is 0.10. Oh, that's because it's reading the total depth from Z0, which is the top side. And you're looking at the bottom, it's showing you where you're at, what your cut depth is down below. So it's going to take that 0.5 at the top and the 0.5 at the bottom. And that's what it's showing you, the total. When you switch over the flip symbol, well, I don't have a two-sided project up, then I'm not sharing anyway. When you use the flip symbol, now it's measuring from that surface and going down. But before, this being the top, this being the bottom. When you're viewing for the top, it's cutting 50 thousandths deep. When you flip it over and look, now it's giving you the total. It's giving you this 50 thousandths and this 50 thousandths. That's what's going on. So, okay. That's what it is. When you use the flip symbol, now your Z0 changes to that bottom surface. And that's why it's showing you that 50 thou. So, yeah, it's taking the two and adding them. So, okay, I think that was the last question. I got Wade's question. I got Mario's question. Is there somebody else who, is there any other, let me look up here. Are there any other questions? Thought I had some. I'm not trying to duck out early or anything. I'm just kind of looking to see. Boom, boom, boom. Let's cruise on up. No, I'm not seeing any more questions. Looking to see. And yes, 8th Center, I did notice how you are the start of a lot of conversations. So, and that's good. I wanted to keep going. You guys always come up with great questions. And, okay. Wendell says, being old, is there any way to make the icons bigger? Not without scaling your screen. Now, that is something that has been requested. That is a feature request that folks have asked for a way to make these icons larger. The problem is there are so many of them over here. And this is VCarve. Now I can turn that off. I can get rid of align objects here. And I'll do that just by going down here. Show common tools on design tab. I'll uncheck that, close it, and now align objects is gone. But if we make these icons bigger, it gets harder to keep them all on the screen. Now you can scale your view, but that's in Windows settings. And I'm not going to touch that simply because I'm not not a Windows expert. And to be honest, I'm not sure where it is right off the top of my head. I have to go look for it, and you don't want to watch that. Oh, okay, I see what you're talking about. The icons on the end of the mouse pointer. Is there any way to make those larger? Okay. I know you can make your mouse pointer larger. Again, I think that's down to scaling your screen. I think that's down to scaling your screen size here within Windows. So I would look for that. But increasing the size of these icons, having something up here in the options, that has been requested. They might be able to do that from an accessibility standpoint, Wendell. Some people need that. All of us with old eyes would prefer it. But maybe it's possible they can do it and have a selection. So show large mouse. Well, Butch, that increases the size of the mouse pointer itself, but it doesn't increase the size of, let's say I want to draw you see the text under that little crosshair, the X readings and the Y readings. And, click here and I've got length and I've got angle. There should be a way to make that text bigger, I don't think the mouse pointer settings in Windows will change that. If it does, please let me know. Isn't there a magnifying doodad in Windows that shows the cursor zoomed in? Again, you can change the size of the pointer within Windows, but I'm not sure that includes like the cursor size here. Harneo Media Steve, he says, not sure if it would work, but check out disability settings. Yes, they're under accessibility. You can get that. And that's also where you scale up your screen size. Now, they did make some changes over here in the icon colors because they did not account for folks who are colorblind. So that's why there are a lot more reds out here. And it's not quite as monochrome as it was. I get a lot of people got on them in the user group meeting in Texas, and they talked to people face to face who had that issue. So they did do that. But again, and this is, call it a call to action if you want. The squeaky wheel gets the grease. If you want that availability, if you want that option to go in and check larger cursor size or larger icon size, send an email, respectful, to Vectric support. And the subject of your email should be feature request. And then in the body of the email, line out what you want. They do listen to that. That's why there are so many improvements over the last few years. They do listen to those things. And that's where they get ideas. They need to see what people are doing with the software. And they don't know what you want until you tell them. I mean, the software isn't broken. but they will make improvements. And if this is an accessibility issue, if you say vision, this is a vision issue, you would like the ability to increase the size of the icons or the text by a cursor or the symbols like the crosshairs or the circle or the square, let them know. If it's an accessibility issue, it tends to go higher up on their priority list. Okay? Now, that may mean if they do that, there'll be a scroll bar here along the side to where you can get to the whole thing. You know, they may not be able to have 5 icons wide or 6 icons wide. It may only be 3. And this whole thing be longer and you have to scroll to get to tools. But that's better than not knowing where the tool is. So, but yeah, definitely. Okay. Go to ease of access, turn on magnifier, click on the views button, and highlight docked. It will open a page on top of the screen. You lose a little bit of real estate, but it works quickly to show zoomed in. Can it be moved? If you need something over on this side of the screen, can you move it out of the way so I can get to these icons over here? Or does it push this over so you still see this full screen? And now it's docked over here on the side. Okay, you press Windows plus sign to turn it on and off. Okay. I'll get in and play with that. That's interesting. A lot of you know that on my edited videos, I have closed captions. I edit closed captions. That's real important to me for the deaf and the hearing impaired. And that came about because a deaf woman, and she flat out said, do not call her hearing impaired. She is deaf. Do not call her hearing impaired. She never had any hearing to impair. Okay. I can respect that. She asked me if I would get in and I would edit my closed captions because they didn't make any sense. So I went in on that particular video and I looked and yeah, they did not make any sense at all. So I started editing closed captions. And I do it on every edited video. I went back to videos that were in the library and every video where I wasn't speaking so fast, the captions wouldn't keep up, I edited those automatic closed captions. And I thought, because she's not the only one that needs this. She's just the first one to ask. So I did that. And looking at my analytics, 40% of my viewers use closed captions. 40%. That's a huge number. I also translate them into 12 different languages myself, and then YouTube will translate for people who I haven't accommodated that way. And I do it by request. If somebody wants me to do, well, somebody asked me to do Italian, I added Italian. It's literally 5 clicks for me to translate those closed captions and titles and descriptions. It's literally 5 clicks to do that. It's not a problem. But I hadn't considered the visual side of that. So maybe I need to get into some software to let me zoom in on an area. Like if I come over here and go to hit the draw a star, maybe I need to get an add-on where I can hit a hotkey and have it zoom in where my cursor is pointed and then hit it again so it zooms back out. I hadn't thought of that. Because there are a lot of times where I've gone over and I just click something and people are, what'd you just click? And I don't think about magnifying it. So that's why I try to narrate where I'm going. So, But thanks for that. I know that's not what you guys asked for. But if it's something I can do, I sure will. Having said all of that, we're about ready to wrap this up. I have a request for y'all. I have a favor to ask, okay? I'm getting back to where I can start making edited videos again. But what I need from you is a direction. Which direction would you like to see this channel go? I am known for my Vectric for Absolute Beginners tutorials. And I could go that direction further. It may be a while because version 13 is imminent. Not anytime soon. I don't see version 13 coming out in this year. But I am hesitant to make more version 12 plus videos, not knowing what version 13 is going to look like. So in the interim, I need to focus on other things. So I would like your input. I would like to know what you would like to see. Now, I already have planned, as soon as I can do it, I already have planned a video on work holding. That being options. I'm going to start easy with flat work and just work holding. Everything from screws to composite nails to tape and CA glue to clamps. I will even do that. I will even do clamps, even though I hate them and don't use them. I will get some clamps and use them just to show that option. Where else do you want to go? What else do you want to see? Let's see here. 8 Center says, so long as you don't start forcing AI-involved content. I'm sick to death of seeing that everywhere. I'm good with anything you do. Well, thank you for that. AI content may be restricted to... I'm not going to say I won't use AI, because AI is a tool just like a hammer or a saw or a CNC. But it has its place. You're not going to get AI animations. You're not going to get AI music. You're not going to get AI demonstrations. But I may use AI to create a 3D model. I may use AI to create an image where I'm trying to show a process, like for instance, when I did my V-bit video and showing how much, if you take a 90-degree V-bit versus a 60-degree V-bit, and how much the depth and width differs. Basically because my drawing sucks, so I may use AI to create that image because I can't draw it, you know. Leave me a comment in the comment section after we're live here, because this chat goes away for about 18 hours after we're done, and I can't go back and look at the chat for your suggestions. So leave me a comment down in the description. It's like rotary axis. I'm going to be talking to one of my wizards. I consider, when I say one of my wizards, I don't own him or anything like that. It's a friend of mine, a channel member who is, I think, a wizard on the rotary, even though he would say he's not. I still think he is. So I'm going to have him talking. I'm going to have talk. Whoa, Mark, slow down. I'm going to be talking to him about being a guest, and he knows I'm going to ask him. I just have to get there. All in due time. I see a lot of great suggestions. Put them in the comment section when we're done, please. Also, guest ideas. Who would you like to see as a guest? If you've got a creator you've been following, somebody you like, suggest it. I mean, any links. If this person has social media, be it Instagram, Facebook. I don't use TikTok. YouTube, anything, something like that. Give me their name. Give me links to their stuff so I can go see what they do. Give me links to their social media. If you want to be a guest, hit me up. If you would like to be a guest, if you have a specialty, I'm looking at you, Butch. Hit me up. I just called out Butch, and he's like, oh, no. But anyway, yeah, hit me up. Give me ideas. You guys come up with some great ideas. And I'm here for it. So, all right, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Channel members, tomorrow, the big Monday evening live stream, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. And channel members, get over to my posts tab and vote on the poll. As it sits right now, I have 21 votes. I need more than that. This is especially for those of you who are regulars in the 3D printing live stream we do on Thursday. Okay? Vote in the poll. It's important. It's very important. 21 votes is not enough for me to make a decision. So if you are a follower of the Thursday 3D printing live stream, get over there and vote. Your vote counts. Trust me. Let's see. What else? Next Sunday is up to you. It's up to you. You let me know what you want to see. For those of you who are not channel members, you don't know what I'm talking about, or you want to become a channel member, maybe you'd like to be added to our super secret WhatsApp group, Facebook group, or Facebook chat. Right down below here, this video panel, you'll see the word join. Click on that word join. You're not joining anything. You're just getting information. Okay? Whoa, got to stop. Man, what do you mean to me? What'd I do to you? What'd I do to you? Come on, man. Anyway, you'll see the word join. Click that, and another video is going to pop up and play. I'm going to tell you all about channel membership. We got a great crowd, and we have plenty of room for you, and we'd love to have you join. That is a theory that is going to go untested, at least on my head. Okay, so yes, okay, you need a link to the post. Let me do that. I can do that. Bing, bing, bing. And I will go over here to your channel. Okay, when you come to my channel, you come right over here underneath all these are different links. All these are links. Click on posts. And there we go. And it is right there. Oh, I have 22 votes in this poll right now. So, and I'm not screen sharing again. There we go. Let's go back to that. When you come to my channel, if you're a subscriber, this is what you'll see. You'll see that I'm live now. You won't see that, that intro video. come right, all these under here, these are different links. Come right over here to posts. Click on posts. And there it is. The very first post. I've got 22 votes. Vote in that poll. Please. I need to know. I need to know. I can't make a decision with only 21 votes. Okay? So, again, go to my YouTube channel, come down here to posts, and you should see it. This is also where I post a link for I post a link to the Monday and Thursday live streams. This is also where I post a link to the Saturday Zoom call BS session. So if you want to take part, Saturday evening, 5-ish Pacific, 8-ish Eastern. It's just a Zoom call. It is not recorded. It is not broadcast. It is just, it's just there. We just talk about life, the universe, and everything. This is where I post those links. And that's on Saturday evenings. Let's see. On my YouTube, the last post you made was last year. That was the last public post I made, was last year, yes. I make members only posts that only my members see, and that's usually scheduling 3 times a week. So, all right. I watch Thursday sometimes, but I don't have a 3D printer, so I don't have anything to contribute. You don't have a 3D printer? Stop now. Stop now. Unless you need a 3D printer, stop now. The rabbit hole is deep. The rabbit hole can get pricey. The rabbit hole is wide. For your own protection, for your wallet's protection, stop now. See how decent I can be sometimes? Usually I'm like, come, join the dark side. We have cookies, but I'm telling you, it is something that I never thought I would get into, but the minute I got into it, oh my dog, did I ever get into it. And I blame you, Sargon. But thank you anyway. Anyhow, so we're way, way, way off base here. Let me wrap it up by saying thank you for spending part of your Sunday with me. I really, really do appreciate each and every one of you. Some of you have been with me since the very beginning, and I appreciate all of that. Good evening, Jack in the shop. You're just in time to miss us. You popped in at just enough time to say goodbye. Yeah, you missed the whole thing. Thank you for spending part of your Sunday with me. I appreciate it. Now go do something cool. And whether it's on the CNC in the shop or it's just out, on the barbecue cooking dinner for the family, just go do something cool and enjoy yourself. And until the next time we all meet up, whenever that may be, y'all take care.